So Lizzo lost a buttload of weight. Pun intended. If you don't know, Lizzo is a pop music artist. I think it's pop. Pop just means popular, so I don't know. And famously, she's been known to be round. So the fact that she's lost a bunch of weight recently is interesting. But Kevin, if you don't listen to the music, how the fuck would you know this? Well, basically, I was just researching what people have been searching for in regards to weight loss, and I see, well, Lizzo weight loss, Lizzo weight loss. I'm thinking, what's going on over here? Did she lose weight? Thank God. My girlfriend has called me fat phobic because, as a joke because I myself have lost 100 pounds and I bring up Lizzo's weight whenever she comes up, saying, hey, did she lose weight yet? Not because I hate fat people, because being that obese is not great. And she's apparently lost a bunch. Now, my first thought was, oh, she used Ozempic, of course. That's what everyone's doing these days. So I looked into it, and she did, at least at the beginning. But then she said, hey, this basically just causes a caloric deficit. So if I can do that myself, it's going to be better overall. No bad side effects. So assuming this is true and she's not secretly taking drugs, then that's fucking badass. And I commend that. So I'm going to use this as a kind of frame to discuss natural weight loss versus drugs, drug weight loss, maybe surgery one, we'll see. Liposuction is something people totally forgot about. Once Ozempic and we got popular. What's lipo? Fuck that. So here's the thing. You can lose weight naturally or you can lose it through drugs and surgery. I would say unnaturally. There are costs to both. Both can work. I think there's a clear winner here because I'm biased. I lost 100 pounds through nutrition and exercise. If you told teenage me, hey, you can just inject this a bit or whatever and then lose weight without effort, who knows what I would have done. Maybe that would have sounded great to me. So I'm glad I never had the option. Because I learned doing it, in my opinion, spoiler alert, I prefer the natural way. Because once you know that, once you know what to do, once you gain that knowledge through experience, well, it's really hard for you to get overweight again. I mean, a lot of people do, but in my opinion, once you go through that, you know what it takes to get to that point. You know what it takes to lose all that weight. You know what it's going to take mentally to go through that journey again. You know how it works. It's a difference between hiring a plumber to come fix your stuff or learning how pipes work. Now that pipe situation is not really going to be something that gives you diabetes, right? But yeah, ideally it'd be great if you could just have that knowledge yourself, right? That's why I prefer natural weight loss. So if you work in tech especially, you're sitting down all day, you're sifting through, code blocks, systems, policies, all this shit for probably 7 to 10 hours a day. Your metabolism's already low because your activity is not very high, probably. So these drugs might be interesting for you. They may be like, hey, I can lose weight by not doing stuff. Whoa, that sounds interesting to me. But it's the same issue I had with liposuction, as in, yeah, get the fat sucked out of you, no effort, besides financial, but it doesn't fix the habits that got you there. So it's possible it could just happen again. What a waste of money that would be. Naturally, it's a different story. You have to build new habits. You have to retrain your brain. You have to figure out what actually works. So to use Lizzo as an example, as I'll be using throughout this entire episode, apparently she tried Ozempic initially, early on. And obviously Ozempic, it basically works. It just makes you not hungry. But for her, the side effects seem to be too, not worth it. You heard about all the emergency room visits, the emergency surgeries. Probably the muscle loss wasn't very appealing either. So for her, it was just a science thing. As she said, I'm going to quote her. It's just the science. For me, calories in versus calories out, Ozempic works because you eat less food, makes you feel full. So if you can do that on your own and get mind over matter, it's the same thing. I like that take, although it's not the same thing because Ozempic makes you not hungry and you're not, it doesn't fix the habit, so you're just gonna lose a bunch of muscle as well, probably bone mass too, but I don't recall the specifics of that. But you lose more than fat. So that's great. Understanding the science behind it, understanding that it's about calories in versus calories out, is what'll get you that weight loss and what'll keep you there. Now, side note, what do people mean when they say calories in versus calories out? Calories in, as you can guess, is what you're eating. Calories out is what you're expending. Now, here's something I thought for many years, and once I found this out, or rather, when I found out the truth, I was very, very relieved. What I used to think was that calories out meant everything that went in had to be burned off through exercise. So I thought people who were thin, not fat, they just exercise a lot. And if you eat, 2,000 calories a day for your food, you have to work out 2,000 calories at some point to kind of nullify that. And I was thinking, holy fucking hell, how is this possible? How is this even possible to stay thin then? These people must be super active and I can't keep up with that. It's ridiculous. But what I found out, and this changed everything, is that calories out is not just through exercise. The calories you burn through exercise is actually not that much. I mean, yeah, if you want to run for like 2 hours, that's a decent amount, but it's still not going to outdo, what a donut would put into you. So what I found out is that even at rest, just your body existing, you're breathing, your heart's pumping, your organs are doing stuff, you're talking, just existing, no matter what you're doing, breathing, talking, blinking, it all burns calories. All these bodily functions burn calories. If you were in a coma, you would still burn over 1,000 calories just by existing. Now, if you're up, walking around, living your life, that number goes up. You're burning more calories by existing because your existence is a bit more active than just being in a coma. Now, say you exercise, the number of calories that you burn just by existing goes up yet again. So that's kind of why I really recommend exercise if you're trying to lose weight. The majority is nutrition, duh. But if you're generally active, your body will burn more calories at rest every day, which will make it much easier for you to lose weight. So that's what that means. And an interesting thing that Lizzo did is she used to have a vegan diet, and then she switched to eating a bunch of animals. I found this to be fascinating, not because I don't understand why, but because you don't normally hear that kind of thing. You normally hear the opposite. Say, hey, I used to eat a shit ton of steaks, I went vegan and lost a bunch of weight. But that's the thing most people don't understand. Just because something is vegan doesn't mean it is good for you. Oreos are vegan. Of course, falafels and other good foods are also vegan. Those are what you should be going for. However, most people, when they're vegan, a lot of their diet, especially in America, it can go to ultra processed foods that pretend to be meat. The fake meat options, fake cheese options. Sometimes those are worse than actual meat and cheese in terms of like all the saturated fat and whatnot on them. Now, I won't lie to you. I have a friend who's vegan, so when we have our board game nights, there's the Impossible nuggets that come out. And I partake sometimes, Now, regular chicken nuggets versus Impossible, quote unquote, chicken nuggets. In terms of your health, they're both not great. Like, let's be clear. They're both ultra processed to shit. Extra stuff in them just to, let them keep their shape and bake and stuff like that. Apparently, Impossible nuggets are slightly less bad, but, fucking nuggets are nuggets, right? And the point being, just because something is vegan doesn't mean it is better by far. That's not how that works. When a food is vegan, all that means is that it does not contain animal, I don't know what you call it, animal innards. It doesn't come from an animal, essentially. Whether it's from the body of the animal itself with the meat or what it, the dairy, what it squirts out through its nipples if it's a mammal. And also eggs too, that comes out as well. Essentially, if it comes from an animal, if it comes of the animal or from the animal, it's no good. So a lot of the vegan stuff is plant based. You would think if you can find the stuff that actually tastes good, you can be vegan, lose a bunch of weight, be healthy. Thing is, it's pretty challenging these days because go out to eat, try to be vegan, see what happens. See how fucking easy, see how fucking hard that is. But if you're eating, like a Mediterranean diet, the vegan parts, it's just great. It's fun. It's awesome. But it is very possible for a vegan to have a way worse diet than someone who just eats animal proteins, dairy stuff. It's possible. It just depends on the quality of the food. So, big ass tangent aside, Lizzo switched from vegan to eating meat and stuff like that. And I commend this actually because a lot of the stuff she was eating was processed, like I said. And a lot of that stuff, a lot of the ultra processed foods, whether they're vegan or not, they're not very filling. They're just meant to taste pretty good and be cheap to make. So it says she was eating a 3,000 to 5,000 calorie vegan diet, which is crazy. And obviously, there's some other stuff, not just processed, ultra processed stuff, but, like breads and stuff like that. Bread can be pretty good, but in terms of the calories, it's kind of like rice. It's great with a meal, but if you're eating just that, you're gonna fill up your calorie budget real quick, not necessarily be as full as you want to be. So that was part of what she was doing. But then she switched to more whole foods, less ultra processed, more animal proteins, and guess what? It helped. You know why? When you eat whole foods, more animal or more proteins in general, you stay full. Like I said, a lot of the other ultra processed foods, they don't really fill you up because they're filled with not food, but more real food, it helps fill you up. And if you're full, you're less likely to eat. If you're less likely to eat, you're less likely to eat too much, which helps you lose weight. Let's get into some myths here. Myth 1. GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic are safe and easy. Everyone's doing it. Bro, what? Everyone's doing it? That might be a thing in Hollywood. It sucks. I hate that this has become popular because now when I see someone, like 20 years ago, I saw a celebrity or someone that I didn't know in person. I saw them lose weight. I'm like, awesome, good for them. But now when I see someone famous lose weight, I'm like, you hopped on the drug, right? It sucks. I don't know if they did it naturally or not, and they're not gonna fucking say it. Some do. I watched a comedy special from Jim Gaffigan months ago. Right at the beginning, he was like, "Yeah, I lost a bunch of weight. You think it was Ozempic? It wasn't. It was Manjaro, whatever the fuck it was." So he's straight up about it. He's like, "Yeah, man, willpower is tough. So I'm gonna take this drug as long as I can." I'm like, you know what? I actually respect that. Fair enough. I mean, it'd be great if you could build that, but self-awareness is great. So yeah, a lot of people are doing it. That's true, but safe and easy, bro. What the hell? So what I'm reading here is 70% of ER visits, emergency room, for those not in America who don't need to go to the emergency room so often, for these drugs, the semaglutide drugs, the Ozempic, Wegovy's, 70% of those visits are for distress in the gastrointestinal area, the stomach and the butt area. Well, really, it travels from your mouth to your butt, basically. Everything between there can count as the gastrointestinal tract. So this includes vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, blah, blah, blah. As of January 2025, there have been 82 deaths linked to GLP-1 drugs in the UK. I really wonder how much it is for America. But 82 is way too much anyway. And higher doses, of course, increase risk of other kinds of diseases like pancreatitis, gallbladder stuff, stuff like that. So it's not very safe, actually. Myth number 2, you need drugs to lose significant weight. Natural methods don't work fast enough. You might have half of a point with the second part about the natural, but you need drugs to lose significant weight is absolutely insane. I lost 100 pounds myself. No drugs, but I agree it was not fast enough. That took me, I don't know, because the start date, the end date, kind of blurry. It took between 5 and 7 years for me to lose 100 pounds. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So it took a long time. If I knew then what I knew now, it would take me about 2-ish years to lose those 100 pounds, though. And honestly, if I had to do it again, I'd probably not lose 100. I'd probably lose like 70 or so. And, go straight to fit instead of thinner or leaner, I guess I would say. I mean, I'd still be lean, but you know what I'm saying. I would basically pack on a bunch of muscle or retain a lot of muscle as I am losing that weight. That's what I would have done. But regardless, it takes a while. That's true. So you don't need drugs to lose significant weight. The natural methods not working fast enough is it's something you got to build your patience. Like I was telling a client the other day, we're kind of starting out in the beginning, feeling out what you can handle for nutrition. But I got to tell you, once we get going proper, it's still not going to be super fast. All things going perfectly, you can still expect, 1 pound per week loss, give or take, of course. It's not going to be super quick, but it doesn't really matter. If your goal is to reach X weight, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. The alternative is just not doing it and just staying overweight, staying unhappy. So even if it takes a while, it doesn't really matter. That's gonna be the end goal. Who cares if it takes 6 months or 6 years? That's where you want to get to. In 6 years, do you want to be more overweight or do you want to reach that goal? The patience just has to come with it. And you're gonna develop a lot of patience on this journey too. Myth number 3: once you start the drug, you can just stop when you hit your goal. I don't know. It might be like liposuction where you do it and then you live on, you move on with your life, and then you gain a bunch of weight because you didn't fix the habits that got you overweight in the first place. And I assume it's the case for people who stop using these drugs. They're like, okay, I'm done. I reached my weight. I'm sick of these side effects. Let me get off the drug. Oops, I still don't know how to count my fucking calories. I'm gaining weight again. Whoopsie doopsie. Let me hop on the drug again. That's a healthy cycle. If you don't learn how it actually works, you're just going to be dependent on that drug. It's not going to be just I'm going to take this drug. I reach my weight. I'm this weight forever now. No. It just stops you from being super hungry. You know what else can stop you from being super hungry? Your brain. Try it, please. Myth number 4: natural weight loss is too slow and complicated for busy tech workers. The slow thing, opinion. Too complicated? Bro, if you work in tech, you understand complexity. You understand how systems work and how they can help. Weight loss is not very complicated. You don't need to do massive meal prep stuff. It helps, but you don't have to do it. You don't have to work out so damn much. It can help if you work out more, but you don't really have to work out at all, to be honest with you. You can straight up not work out. Just eat less and you lose weight. It's pretty simple. And if you're working 7 to 10 hours a day, that might be how you start off. I would obviously recommend doing exercise at some point, but yeah. You still have the option to do the method that just involves food control. So you can honestly fit this into any job. Unless you're a taste tester, maybe, that might be difficult. Or you're a chef, maybe. That's probably tough. I don't know how every chef in the world isn't fat as fuck. I mean, you must say, I guess if you're super confident in your food, you're like, I don't need to taste this. I know it's good. Then I guess that can work. But I'd imagine if you're cooking this good stuff, you could just, pick parts of it here and there. That must be tough. But yeah, if you're impatient, natural weight loss can be slow. And if you're new, it can seem complicated. But once you ease into it slowly, it's going to be something that's fairly sustainable long term. Just start slow. Start with eating less shit. You eat 5 donuts a week, eat 2. Try that first. You love soda? Switch to low sugar juice or kombucha. Try that first. Take it slow, see how it goes. If you like what's going on, you can make more changes. So here's a cost comparison. Ozempic is about $1,000 a month without insurance. I think with insurance, it's something like $300 a month, which either way is fucking absurd for a drug. You can pay for like a personal trainer for that, or a sick gym like in Equinox or something. Although, be careful with Equinox. I used to work there, and canceling your membership is a humongous pain in the ass. So be sure you like it. But yeah, for a drug, 300, dude. If you're gonna be spending like 300 or so, like go see a coach or a trainer or something. I'm not just biased. I mean, I am biased, but here's how I look at it. You're paying, like if you're paying for Ozempic or something, it's kind of like renting an apartment. You're putting that money in, but you're not retaining anything that's helpful. You spend the money on a personal trainer or coach, they're not shitty. They're you're learning some stuff along the way. So it's kind of like instead of renting an apartment, you're paying mortgage on a house. Yeah, you're still paying, but you're getting something. You are getting value from that, whether it's knowledge, results, whatever it is. But that's with insurance. It'll be $300 for Ozempic. Costs about $1,000. Wegovy is more expensive. I think it's hard. America's insurance thing is just completely fucked up. I was trying to compare the health insurance with my girlfriend the other day. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to read this? What does this even mean? Why is the deductible and the premium so drastically different for this plan? Like, what, I have to read the different specialist stuff, the drug. What's different about it? Why is it so fucking insane to understand this? Anyway, Wegovy's more expensive, it seems like. About $1,300 a month. I don't know what a DTC program is, but I assume it's something similar to insurance or discount. So yeah, it's gonna cost over either one costs over $10,000 a year, which I think is not worth it. You know what's free? Subscribing, by the way. But a gym membership, is about $40 to $70 a month. Mine is about $25 a month. If you can find a Blink Fitness, go for it. I love Blink. The only issue with Blink Fitness is that it's crowded as fuck because it's cheap, but it is better than Planet Fitness. It's got it's got barbells that are not attached to a Smith machine. That is fantastic. I think some Planet Fitnesses now have free barbells out there, but all the ones I ever went to years ago, the closest thing was just the one on the Smith machine, which doesn't really count as a barbell because you can't move it. So gym memberships, $40 to $70, I guess, could be cheaper. So that's $500 to $1,000 a year, or less. Could be $300. Personal training could be $200 to $300 a month, or it could be more. When I worked at Equinox, people were paying paying the gym like over $100 per session, which as a trainer at Equinox, you don't get a lot of that. But they were paying, the ones, my clients who were 3 times a week, so they were paying like $1,200 or more a month. So, hey, things could be worse. I mean, they got good results. I'm not going to say it was a waste of money. I made it worth it for them. But imagine paying that, and you don't get to keep any of that. You don't get any knowledge. You don't get any tracking. You don't get any support. You don't get any correction. You just get, hey, inject this, and you won't eat as much. Doesn't seem worth it to me. Yeah, I don't prefer the drug approach because it's kind of like you ask someone to help you with something, and they just come over there and do it for you. And you're thinking, okay, that's cool, but I don't really know how to do this myself, so that kind of sucks. Whereas losing it naturally is like asking someone to help you with something. They're like, okay, so here's what we're going to do, boo, 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 boo. And then you understand, like, okay, I have a decent idea of where to go from here. Awesome, thanks. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for life. Fish is a great source of protein, by the way. It's just a philosophy behind this, the natural versus unnatural. If you have a shit ton of money, you don't give a fuck about muscle, willpower is annoying, Buy your drugs. That's fine. I understand. I don't agree with it, but if you truly understand what it means, cost wise, future wise, and you can afford the emergency room visits, what can I say? Like, you got it. You know what you're gonna do. Go for it. If you're not rich, you actually care about not losing all your muscle. You don't feel like going to the hospital and paying more to fix what you already paid too much for in terms of drugs. I recommend doing it naturally. What does this consist of? Well, first of all, make a change. Make a change. If you don't do any exercise at all, start walking. Start that first. If you eat like complete fucking dog shit, swap those snacks, swap those foods, or reduce the amount. Try that first, see how you feel. Make sure you're keeping track of this stuff via pictures or scale. Just use some kind of reference, whether it's visual or numbers or something else. Then when you're more comfortable with this kind of progress and tracking, you can get more granular if you want, tracking your calories. You can track macros if you want. I think the only macro worth tracking is proteins, honestly. I mean, that's also only helpful, kind of. Well, not only helpful, but it's mostly helpful when you see it in reference to other macronutrients, but whatever. That's one thing. If you for some fucking reason just never want to track your calories ever, you're missing out, first of all. Secondly, I would recommend you at least track your protein, your grams of protein. Try to get like a gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. It's more like, 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Maybe a bit more, actually. But just think about it as a base. Like, for me, I'm 70-something kilograms. I don't know. 78, I don't know. So I'd be eating a bit over 100 grams of protein per day. I try to, and that's ideal. So if you don't want to track calories for whatever reason, that would be the absolute minimum I would recommend to you in terms of tracking. Just don't change everything at once. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be way too hard. At your day job, you're probably familiar with the concept of, change meetings. You group together, say, hey, we're going to make this change to the process. Is everyone okay with this? Is this going to fuck anything else up? Are there other changes that we need to keep in mind first? Think of it like that. Just introduce a change. Think, oh, does this work? Is this going to mess something up? Is this doable? Make that change, then see what happens. But just do one, maybe two at a time. Don't just next week say, okay, I'm going to start exercising 3 times a week. I'm going to eat only chicken. I'm going to add in 3 pounds of broccoli per week. I'm going to track all my calories from day one. Chill the fuck out. That's gonna end poorly because you're going to be like, this is too much because I'm not used to it and I don't want to do it anymore. Fuck this. Chill out. Do one of those things. And even like a partial, like gym 3 times a week right away. You just do once a week. Just try. Just do one thing. Okay. So here's a challenge for you. If you're trying to lose weight and you're like, oh, drugs seem kind of cool, slap yourself. And then for the next week, try keeping track of 4 food items. Like download MyFitnessPal, Chronometer, whatever you say, Chronometer, however you say it. MyNet Diary, any calorie tracking app. Track 4 foods, not meals, foods. Use a barcode. Oh, I'm consuming this. Barcode, snap, scan, whatever. Got that. At the end of the week, just see how it is. Add a bit more. Then do a whole day. Sometime in the coming weeks, as you get more accustomed to the actual tracking, see how it is. See what you notice. Sometimes just being aware can help you change more than anything else. So do that for drugs. Please, because you'll keep the knowledge. And also, subscribe, or you're not going to make it. All right, stay off drugs, kids. See you next time.